Greetings, math fans. All right, so this is day 2 of our factoring chapter, and basically what we're going to do is review a little bit first, greatest common factor, and then get into the new topic today. Okay, the new topic is actually pretty easy. It's called difference of two squares. All right, so let's begin here. Remember, you're looking for the smallest exponent for the variable, and you're looking for the biggest number that goes into all three numbers. Okay, so for the first one, looking at the exponent. X is my smallest exponent. This is really saying x to the 1. So you're going to divide everything by something x. All right, and then what number goes into 8, 4, and 16? Well, 4 does. So actually my GCF is 4x. My greatest common factor is 4x. So I'm going to divide each of these by 4x. And don't forget to put on the side here 4x and then in parentheses. And if you got 3 terms here, you're going to have 3 terms inside the parentheses. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. Remember, x squared over x to the first is x squared. So it's 2x squared. Okay, the next one, the 4's cancel, which is fine. And then you have x squared over x, which is just x. So it's really plus x, plus 1x, right? And then this is basically the x's cancel here, and we just have minus 4. And this is your answer, math fans. Okay? So the next one, well, what goes into 10 and 25? Well, 5 does. So my GCF, greatest common factor, is 5. Okay, now let's look at the x's. Well, here x to the 4th and x to the 5th, so x to the 4th is the smallest. And let's look at the y's. Y to the 7th, y to the 3rd, so y to the 3rd is the smallest. That is my greatest common factor. So we're going to divide each thing by 5x to the 4th, y cubed. 5x to the 4th, y cubed. Okay? So you get this on the outside, and then you divide. 10 divided by 5 is 2, x to the 4th cancel, and y to the 7th over y to the 3rd is y to the 4th. Okay, plus 5, that gives you x, and that's it. Because y is canceled, and that's your answer. Okay, not bad. The next one, greatest common factor, is 6x cubed. Because again, the smallest exponent is x cubed, and 6 goes into both of those terms. Now, common mistake here, math fans, is what kids do is they divide both sides by 6x cubed. And what happens is they just cancel this out because they say, oh, look at it, it cancels out. But remember, it's like saying, what's 5 over 5? It doesn't go away, it's 1. So 6x cubed over 6x cubed is 1. So if I write it out, 6x cubed, I divide the first one out, I get 2x squared, and then plus 1. Just think, if I distributed this back over again to both those terms, I would get plus 6x cubed. Okay? And just to get my original problem. Okay? Alright, but anyway, this is the answer here. Okay, the next one looks a little complicated, but again, what are you pulling out of here? Well, let's look at the number. Do you guys agree that my greatest common factor is 3? And look at the exponent for the x to the 4th, and the y to the 4th, y to the 1st, and y squared, so it's just y. And this one is the only one that has a z, so that's not a greatest common factor. So literally it's 3x to the 4th y. So 3x to the 4th y, 3x to the 4th y, and 3x to the 4th y. Okay, so you're going to write 3x to the 4th y. Don't forget to write it out there. And then I'm going to divide. That just leaves me with x to the 6th, y to the 3rd. The next one is plus 4x to the 6th. The y's cancel, and you have a z left over. And this one is minus 3, x to the 4th cancel, and y squared over y is just y. And that's your answer. Okay. Next one, there's no number because you have an 8, 3, and a 5, so nothing goes into that. So my greatest common factor is, let's see, that's x to the 5th, x to the 6th, and x to the 9th. So the smallest one is x to the 5th. And this one has a y, that one's a y squared, but this doesn't have a y. So it literally is just x to the 5th that I'm dividing. So you get x to the 5th, and then in parentheses, you get 8y minus 3xy squared, because x to the 6th over x to the 5th is y, or is x, and then y squared is all by itself. and then it's plus 5x to the fourth. That's your answer. Okay, the next one, the number is going to be 8, and since this has x, this has y, this has z, there's no greatest common factor for a variable, so you're literally, your GCF is 8. So it's 8 parentheses 3x minus 2y minus 5z. That's it. Okay, not bad. Next one is going to be 5. This one has x, this has x, this has x, so it's definitely 5x. This is y to the 9th, y squared, and y to the 6th, so it's going to be y squared. Okay, so 5x y squared. Okay, so we get 5xy squared, and then parentheses, I've got 4y to the 7th plus 2, and then everything cancels. X and the y squareds cancel, and then minus 5, the x cancels, and the y to the 6th over y squared is y to the 4th. And that's your answer. Okay, and this next one, what goes in 35 and 42? 7 does. So that's x cubed, that's just x, so 7x. This is y to the 5th, this is y cubed, so y cubed. And this is z to the 8th and z to the 3rd, so z to the 3rd. And that's what you're going to divide each of those out by 7x cubed, or sorry, 7x, y cubed, z cubed. So 7x, y cubed, z cubed. Okay, so I'm going to write that on the outside. And then the inside, I'm going to get 5x squared, y squared, z to the 5th. Right? That's basically just canceling all that out. And the same thing with this one. It's going to be plus 6, because 42 over 7 is 6. It's x over x cancels, y cubed over y cubed cancels, z cubed over z cubed cancels. So that's it. That's your factored form, greatest common factor. Okay? All right, so our topic today is pretty fast. It says list the perfect squares. Okay, 1 squared is 1. You can put in your calculator. 2 squared is 4. You guys should know these. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. 5 squared is 25. 6 is 36. 7 is 49. 8 is 64. 9 81. 10 100. 11 121. You know, and if you need to know these past that, it's not a big deal. Just kind of put it in your calculator and you're kind of good to go. Okay. 12 squared is 144. 13 squared is 169. 14 squared is 196. 15 squared is 225. And 16 squared is 256. 17 squared is 289. Again, I don't expect you guys really to remember those. You can always put in your calculator. 18 squared is 324. And 19 squared is 361. 20 squared is 400. Okay, so what I would like you guys to know is really up through 10. I mean, a lot of you guys know 11 squared and 12 squared, maybe 13. But past that, I don't know, I don't think so. Most people don't know that. Okay, so anyway, those are your perfect squares. And the next thing says here, says state whether each expression is a difference of 2 squares. So here's the deal. There are 2 parts to this question, math fans. First of all, the word difference, and the other is of 2 squares. Okay, so there's got to be a minus sign between them, and both the first and the second term have to be perfect squares. Okay, so the first one, and we're just going to say yes or no. That's all we're going to do. So that's a perfect square. That's perfect square is a minus. So yes. That's perfect square. That is not a perfect square. 40 is not a perfect square, so this is no. 12 is not a perfect square, so this is no. This y squared 9 are definitely perfect squares, but there's not a difference. There's not minus between them. Okay, so we're going to say no. There's a plus in between those, so we're going to say no. 8 to the 6th minus 1. Here's the deal. If I take the square root of 8 to the 6th, I get 8 to the 3rd. You basically, if this is an even number, math fans, That's a perfect square. So it actually, we're going to say yes, it is a difference of two squares. This one, number 7, I can actually rewrite this as x squared minus 25, which means yes. X squared is perfect square and 25 is perfect square, and minus between them. Same thing with number 8. 4 is a perfect square, x squared is a perfect square, and 81 is a perfect square. So you're going to say yes. And again, this is even, and they're both perfect squares, 16 and y to the 8th and 25, so we're going to say yes for that one as well. Okay? What are the characteristics that make an expression a difference of two squares? Well, first of all, it's got to be difference. So you need the minus sign between terms. Okay? And you also need two perfect squares. All right, so let's look at the first one. This is how you factor it. First of all, you have to identify it's a difference of two squares. And it is, there's a minus sign. X squared is a perfect square, we know that already, and 81 is a perfect square. Square root of 81 is 9. So literally the square root of x squared is x and x, the square root of 81 is 9 and 9. And when you have just a minus sign here, you have plus and minus. And that's the answer to this problem, actually. Okay? And if I FOIL it again, which you've done last chapter, or a couple chapters ago, if you FOIL that, that would bring you back to x squared minus 81. Okay? So there's always a way to check it. All right, is this one a perfect difference of two squares? It sure is. So the square root of 4 is 2, square root of a squared is a, square root of 25 is 5, and plus and minus. Always plus and minus. This is not a difference of two squares because it doesn't have a plus sign. Okay, this is, so square root of 25 is 5, square root of y squared is y, and then plus and minus. Okay? This one is 3x and 3x, and it's going to be 8 and 8, so it's plus and minus. That's your answer. Okay, this one is a big problem, but it still works. 100 b to the 14th, so basically square root of 100 is 10 and 10, and 14 divided by 2 is 7. So it's plus 7b minus 7b. Okay? That's not 26, it's a b. Okay, number 16. There's no difference of two squares. 50 is not a perfect square. So this is can't factor. And these are both perfect squares, and then there's a minus sign. So you're going to get 3x and 3x minus 5 and plus 5. Okay? This is going to be 9x and 9x for 81x squared, plus and minus, and it's going to be 11 and 11. Okay? This one you can't do because it's got a plus sign. This one, again, the square root of 9 is 3, and y squared is going to be plus y and minus y. Okay? Last problem. Difference of two squares, it is because b to the 8th is a perfect square. You basically just take half of that. So you get b to the 4th, b to the 4th, and then the square root of 36 is 6 and 6. So plus 6 and minus 6. And then you're done with the problem. Okay? So that's it, math fans. That is greatest common factor at the beginning. This is the review. And then it's difference of two squares. Okay? So that's it, math fans. I hope you guys are good to go with this and you learn a little bit more about factoring. All right? Talk to you later. Adios. Goodbye.